Hello and welcome back to Racing Through Radio. I'm your host, Sam Moore, and I'm here to talk to you all about what's happening over at Ransomville Speedway this past Friday night. This week was a real sunny one. Sunny, dry, and dusty. I honestly kind of came home looking like the Sandman from Spider-Man, and you would have thought I was rolling around in it. But it wasn't super warm or anything, it was just sunny, no clouds in the sky. Which probably made it super pretty for everybody watching in the grandstand side, but from the pits, this week was a little hard to watch until the sun went down. So, instead of watching hot laps and seeing how fast everybody could go, I spent my time kind of just wandering around. I took a moment to watch how everybody was working in the pits, just because everybody does work really different. Some drivers just kind of seem to relax, enjoying their night, no stress, looking for a good time outside of their race suit and just enjoying their night. Others seem high energy, intent to be working from the moment they step out of their vehicle. It's like they clock in for work, their race suits are on and they're ready to go. This isn't something I believe to determine if you win or not. I've talked to winners that come out of both of these groups. It really just kind of depends on what you're looking for out of your night. The races this week are also brought to us by the Firefighters Association of New York, which meant we subbed out the traditional black and gold pace car for one that showed off our lovely people at the Firefighters Association a little bit better this week. There was also a small autograph session hosted by the drivers for some of the firefighters that may have been in the stands during intermission. This week, I opted to try something a little bit different instead of interviewing. I wanted to just focus on the racing. I feel like when I'm preparing for an interview, it's almost easier to just get a little bit of tunnel vision and focus on the car I'm trying to study. But by doing so, I'm missing out on a whole bunch of the action. So Friday, I decided not to focus on one car in specific at all. I sat in the pits and just took notes on everything I saw. Heats, features, and I spent a lot of time asking people around me what was happening. I want to know more. I don't want to just be a person who knows how to talk to people. I want to know what I'm talking about. Hopefully this week it comes across a little bit more put together.
Ready to take your home from the pits to the winner's circle? Rendell Painting and Renovation Services has the crew that will get you there. One call does it all. 845-5544. Race fans, take a pit stop at the Thousand Islands Cruet for olive oils and vinegars that will bring the taste of victory right to your kitchen. Dress your salads, marinate your meats. Visit them online, thecruet.com.
The mini stocks are cool because they just are normal cars, and I feel like often they're kind of dismissed for that same reason. Why would I want to drive this normal car or watch this normal car drive around when there's other cars that are bigger and scarier? And I won't lie, for a while I didn't have much interest in them for that same reason. Until a few weeks ago, they were actually one of my least favorite types of car to watch on the track for this very reason. But sitting down and getting to talk to some of the drivers and really understanding what's going on in their head and actually spending some time to watch their races, I've changed my opinion on it. I also learned that when my fiance was trying to sell his Mazda, one of the mini stock guys were actually trying to buy it off of him to race at Ransomville with it. The heats for the mini stocks were kind of uneventful, just not a whole lot of passing back and forth outside of Wesley Hughes and Chad Moden. But in the feature, Dave DeSalt and John Carlson started up front. After what I believe to be a false start, Cole Soucy would slip into second and attempt to race after Carlson. Matt Hornquist, Soucy, and Carlson would go 3 wide in turn 1, which always makes me a little bit nervous seeing that many cars piled up into the corner, but they seem to handle it well. I think it's more of just a me getting nervous over a them getting nervous. Hornquist and Cody Griffin would pull off the track at just the right time on lap 12 as a tire would come right off DeSalt's car and run straight for the infield. Using the restart to his advantage, Cole Soucy would hold onto his lead and make his way into victory lane. Sportsmen had some good competition in all of their heats. Mike Camaratz, Justin McKay, and Cam Tuttle in another car I just don't seem to have the number written down for. I'm going to blame that on the sun, however. Went 4 wide fighting for a little bit of position just for McPherson to pull out the win. Dave DePetro Jr. would save himself from a sticky wall situation and be able to avoid it completely while remaining competitive while passing the 111W car. Watching the sportsmen line up for their feature felt a little different this week, though. It seemed like they were spread out a bit more. Some cars started real high and others started real low. And while I understand this could either be because of just how the track felt or the position they preferred, I feel like it gave the people in the back just an open lane to run through. Cam Tuttle and Dave Conant would bring us to green, as Adam Hilton would challenge Conant for second on lap 3. Conant would answer that challenge early on, though. McPherson would start 9th, but by lap 8 he was up to 4th place. He would then pass Adam Hilton for third on lap 13, As Don Rosinski and Mike Camarance had a little back and forth for positioning, we would reach a point where everybody was getting mixed together. The front had finally met the back, and people were intermixed regardless of position. For a moment, you saw drivers like Tyler Moore and Abby Castile running right beside McPherson and Tuttle, and it didn't look uncomfortable. It didn't look forced. It almost looked natural. That only lasted about 2 laps, however, before a caution would come in corner 2. The caution was nothing for these drivers, though. No crash, no injury, just a little overturn. McPherson overtook Tuttle for that second place spot and attempted to put pressure on Conant. Conant would hold his position and get his first track victory since 2016.
Ready to take your home from the pits to the winner's circle? Rendell Painting and Renovation Services has the crew that will get you there. One call does it all. 845-5544. Race fans, take a pit stop at the Thousand Islands Cruet for olive oils and vinegars that will bring the taste of victory right to your kitchen. Dress your salads, marinate your meats. Visit them online, thecruet.com.
The modifieds always feel really energetic to watch. It always seems like it could be anybody's game, and everybody has skin in it, so why not fight for it? And it did feel like a fight. Every heat felt like a fight. Even the feature felt like a fight. The cars drive a little looser. The drivers seem hungrier. Gary Lindenberg jumped from last to third in under a lap. Matt Williamson and Jesse Cortez were locked for first, fighting for it. CJ Castelletti and Andy Jackowitz had a tight race their whole heat, only for Castelletti to only barely snatch that victory away. Steve Lewis fought off Alan Willis and Brandon Michaud for much of their heat. And wow, was the feature hard to keep track of this week. These racers do not wait for anybody. It feels like as soon as I would start to write something down, 3 or 4 other things would happen. At one point, I just stopped looking down, hoping that what I was writing wasn't written over something else and made sense. This race made me realize that I don't think I could ever do actual sports commentary work. I didn't realize how much actual quick response time went into that because, wow, was I terrible at just fast recognitions of what was happening. I didn't know where to look ever because something was happening everywhere. Brad Roos and Ryan Susi were on the front row. Noah Walker would pass Castelletti to take over 5th place on lap 3. Ryan Susi would take the lead from Roos on lap 4. Gary Lindenberg would close in on Walker for 5th place on lap 8, just as Williamson would take over 2nd from Roos. Rudolph would pass Roos on lap 9 and take over 3rd place. We would get up in the mix again with Susi entering lap traffic on lap 13, which would allow Rudolph and Williamson to close in just a little bit. However, it was a little too late to actually get to capitalize on it because Ryan Susi would hold that lead and score his feature win. It was Susi's first feature win in over 2 years, and it was especially special because it was the first feature win after the birth of his son Axton, which ended up being a super sweet emotional moment in Victory Lane. Kyle Steffen and Nigel Pendowski would bring the Niva sportsmen to their green. Steffen and Foster would battle throughout the main event as Pendowski would pull away from the field. Foster would make a move with less than 5 laps remaining to take over 2nd place from Steffen, and Pendowski would end up pulling away with his 6th feature win of the season. Next week is the Chris Moore Memorial Race for the Sterling Lubricant Dirt Car Sportsman, brought to you by Park Hill. This race means a whole lot to me and my family because Christopher is my cousin. This memorial race is a huge reason why the radio show even gets to exist. So I will be there fully repping my memorial shirt and just trying to do Christopher's memory justice in my interviews. As always, the pits will open at 5 p.m., the grandstands will open shortly after at 6 p.m., and then the racing will get underway at 7:15. As always, and especially, I hope to see you at the track Friday, and if not, I hope to catch you back here Sunday at noon. If you're tuning in late, you missed any part of the episode, or who knows, maybe you just can't get enough of re-listening to old episodes of Racing Through Radio. Monday, you can find the full episodes listed on the WLVL website and More Family Racing YouTube channel.